No, that's fine. We're all juggling in lots of different ways at the moment. So you do what you need to do. So I can share my screen now, Laura?
That's correct.
Okay. Oops. Okay. Can everyone see this?
Yep.
Okay. So the agenda for this morning is, I thought a good place to start was, who is Beam and what do we do? So I'm going to take you through that very quickly, just to give you some understanding of how we've come about being able to give advice on marketing for various businesses, our level of expertise, and just to give you some, demonstrate some credibility about what we do and the advice that we have. We've also then got a case study of one of our clients being Comdane Homes. They're a luxury home builder doing bespoke homes here in Melbourne, and they a year ago approached Beam Creative because they weren't selling, they were selling 50% of what they needed to sell, and a year later they've now absolutely surpassed their expectations. They've got 2.5 years worth of builds for ahead of them, so they almost don't even need to do any marketing anymore because they've got so much business. So I think it's a really good example of what can be achieved when you've got your marketing strategy right, you know, spot on. Then I'll lead into the 6 fundamentals of a marketing plan, and this marketing plan is relevant. These 6 fundamentals are relevant to not just an annual plan that you might set for your business, but perhaps a campaign that you might want to run, or just month by month. These are the 6 fundamentals that we believe you need to have considered for any of your marketing to be effective. And then we'll lead to questions and answers. Everyone cool with that?
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, so a bit about, oh, where is Beam? Excuse me. Maybe, Laura, I didn't have that. So I need to go, sorry guys, I'm going to have to go here. Who is Beam? Okay, can we all still see this?
We can still see the agenda. Have you moved into something else?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Would you like to stop sharing the screen and start sharing again with the new?
Yes, okay. Sorry about this, guys.
Natalie, make sure you're sharing the correct screen.
Is that right? You can see that?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so who is Beam? We're a full service agency. We do not just, you know, creative as far as logos and brands and websites, etc. We do everything from strategy to make sure creative is on target for the creative that we produce, and then we can activate it. So we do everything from building marketing plans through to creating brands and then taking it to market as far as websites and advertising campaigns or social media or whatever's needed to get a brand awareness and to affect sales. My partner and I, Craig, we've been doing this combined for over 45 years across lots of different industries. I come from a advertising background, working for Clemengers and MediaCom, having high-level positions in those companies, and then I had my own consultancy for 10 years called the Not Too Hard Basket, where I was basically a marketing manager for about 6 different companies, and I just wear different hats depending on the day. But for the last 4 years, Craig and I have amalgamated our businesses and created Beam. He was and is our creative director and our IT guru, anything digital. BEAM stands for Brand Evolution Accountable Marketing. And the difference with us is that we measure everything that we do, therefore making us accountable to the strategy that we've built for our clients in the first place, because we're constantly measuring results, whether that's in traffic to websites or the amount of likes in social media or the sales that the sales team are actually able to sell each month. So we believe that makes us quite different to the average creative agency out there. And that's our point of difference. So brands with BEAM evolve strategically. They're constantly tested and constantly measured to ensure that we're accountable and that our clients' marketing is successful. So I think we've covered that one. So essentially, as I mentioned, we look after strategy and creative, and then we take it to market with activation. We come, for our clients that like it, we can assign ourselves as a dedicated team for their businesses where we look after all of their marketing, essentially coming on board as their marketing team with myself as their marketing manager, or it's a project basis. But the real difference is this continual measurement for everything that we do. So it's a guest-free marketing zone. That's the 3 pillars of what we do, as I've mentioned, and these are the various things that go inside strategy, creative and activation, whether it be market research, brand audits, positioning, competitive reports, marketing plans through to coming up with names, logos, branding, packaging, websites, and then in activation, you know, the social media, content marketing, digital marketing, lead generation for websites, sales strategies, and more. Any questions, please let me know. So this goes into detail about the sort of strategies that we can do, but I won't, I feel like I'm repeating myself if I go into each one. If anyone wants a copy of this presentation of more about our services, please just let me know at the, and send me an email. I'll give you my details. So in creative, we do everything from branding through to copywriting, through to advertising campaigns, and then we create the website, social media, lead gen, even media planning, digital or print, or, you know, radio, TV, whatever a client may need. And as I mentioned, then we do continual measurement. Everything that we do is mainly digital, so everything can be measured as far as not just how many eyes on screen, but how many people clicked through, and then how many people it actually led to a sale. All of these things should be measured. And if you're not measuring your marketing at the moment, you're really not able to ascertain whether or not your marketing's been effective or whether you've got a return on your investment. So that's why we think it's absolutely crucial. This is how we evolve brands. We learn more, we go in the discovery phase of a strategy. We then aim to differentiate any brand that we work with so that you have a competitive advantage. We look at ways to expand your brand and really bring a brand to life and evolve it. We test it in all sorts of ways to make sure we're on the money. We extend it then into various brand extensions, websites, etc. We activate it, and then we look into the growth phase. I think I've told you a little bit about myself already, but I've worked across lots of great brands, including GlaxoSmithKline, 40 Winks, Sara Lee, Telstra, Protect-A-Bed, Suzuki, Okuma, Diabetes Australia and the Heart Foundation, real estate. We've got lots of different clients like Comdane Homes, Leaptel, etc. This is Craig, my business partner and the other director of BEAM. He's also a HubSpot qualified person as far as a CRM system. As I mentioned, we work closely to support our clients in all aspects of marketing as a marketing team, if that's what you need. Here are some of the projects we've worked on. Comdane Homes, I'm going to show that in detail, so I won't go through that in this, but this is how we would go through a process with our clients. I'll tell you about their results soon. Brilliant Lighting, they're a manufacturer of lighting goods. One of our clients that we work with on their communications and their website, campaigns that we've worked on, including social media. LeapTel is an internet provider in Ringwood that is doing great guns, successfully competing against the likes of Telstra and Dodo. We helped them create a personality for their brand. It was very dry before. We've now got Lenny the Leapfrog that we created through illustrations. You can see there, brought their brand to life, and they're having great success. Particularly, I've got to say, through COVID, with a 34% increase on internet usage, their business is growing exponentially month on month. This is a sort of social media and digital campaigns that we do for them. 24-hour spray tanning business. I suppose you didn't know you needed to have access to spray tanning 24 hours a day, but this company is doing quite well with it in South Yarra. That's a brand and some social media that we've created for them. And Horner Recruitment, we looked after a new branding for them because they had a very old-fashioned 10-year-old brand, and it was really holding their brand back. That's what it used to look like. We did some research, found out that 100% of their clients and suppliers thought it was very old-fashioned and didn't really understand it. This is their new brand, which we've really brought to life and done great things with. This is a a meal replacement product for weight loss. This is what it used to look like compared to what it does now, and it's just gone from strength to strength. So that's about us. I hope that's been helpful. If I get rid of this now, sorry, and I'll go back into sharing my screen, and I'll take you through the case study. Was there any questions about that? No? Okay, so as I said, I've already said about us. Comdane Homes are a 30-year-old business, award-winning custom luxury builder in Melbourne.
Sorry, Natalie, we cannot see that now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Stop. And if I share again, I'm sorry, everyone. Can we see this one?
Yeah, perfect.
Great, thank you. So this is what Comdane Homes looked like previously as a brand. It was a very, very busy website that had about, seriously, 10 calls to action on every single page. So it was a terrible user experience. No one knew what to do with it or where to go. The brand itself was really holding this company back because although they're a luxury home builder, the brand was just not saying where we build $1 million plus homes. It was a very Me Too looking brand. It didn't exude the sort of luxury. It didn't sort of command the sort of money that people needed to spend with this company, which is $1 million plus, not even including the land, of course. It's just for the build. So they didn't know why they were able to get, even though they were getting like 10,000 hits a month to their website, they didn't know why that wasn't resonating with their clients or, the traffic that was coming to their website. They didn't know why it wasn't converting to sales. And they were currently getting about a 4% conversion rate from the traffic that was going to their website. So they were getting poor sales. They wanted to double the quantity of sales because that's what they used to get years ago. They had no marketing, even though they were spending over $100,000 a year. They were getting no marketing that was affecting their sales. They weren't unique in the market. They couldn't tell us how they were different to Metricon or Engelhart or Latitude or the many others in the marketplace. And I can bet you bottom dollar that none of the clients that came to their website could tell how they were different either. And that's a problem for clients. They need to be able to come to a website, understand a brand, and understand why you might be a better choice than someone else that's a competitor in your market. So their goals, and this is why I show this example, is because this is where we start for any client that we work with. We start with the strategy of determining what the goals are, and then we work back from that. And we're always measuring against those goals so we can tell, we can be accountable, and as a team work out whether things are working and adjust things along the way until things do work, until we've got a return on investment as well. So they wanted to have 30 builds per year and a consistent flow of leads, which was double what they were currently doing. They wanted to have a strong point of difference in their marketplace, but they didn't know what that was. They wanted to be known, a known brand, or at least be known as for something in their marketplace that's different to the others. And they wanted to have measured outcomes and a return on their investment. And because the majority of their advertising was in print, they had no idea where that traffic was coming from, and nor did it relate to anything because there was no lead generation or lead capture mechanisms on their website that was delivering anything for their sales team. So the deliverables that we had for this company was we needed to do some strategy and planning. We did a competitor analysis, we did consumer research, we profiled their audiences, we did marketing workshops, and then we did some branding refinement. We weren't allowed to touch the logo, but we're allowed to touch everything else. So we came up with a new color palette, new websites, new videos, came up with key messages for the 3 different target audiences that they had. So we worked out what the 3 audiences were that they wanted to appeal to, and then we created copy and campaigns specific to those audience. For example, one of them we called the affluent Arnolds. So these were people that had double income, both professionals, both earning over 100, say 150K each, and wanting to spend $1.5 million plus. So we created key messages, copy lines that would appeal just to them. And then there was 2 other sectors. And then we created lead captures and media, etc., to capture them. This is our competitive set. So these are the people that Comdane in the middle competes against. So we had a look at all of these competitors, worked out who they are, what they're saying, what their brands look like. We've got some really clever software called SEMrush. You can use it yourself to look at what your competitors are doing, what traffic they're getting, what keywords they're using, what AdWords they're using, etc., to drive traffic to their website. So you get a bit of intelligence then on what's the benchmark and what you should do in order to outperform them. So this was our strategy. We looked at the marketplace and their competitors. We identified opportunities and threats for Comdane. We looked at their website and figured out all the problems with it. For that 10,000 traffic to their website, 4,000 was going to a dead page. So the traffic that they had was going to an error page of 4,000 of it. Things like that can just kill your marketing if you have, you know, things like that that are not working in your website, for example. And there was lots of other things. They hadn't done proper SEO. You know, the user experience was poor, lots of things that we needed to refine. We did those key messages, etc. And then we came up with a 12-month roadmap, we call it, which is essentially a marketing plan. About the brand, we worked with them on a workshop to figure out what we could do to make them different. We did a customer survey to determine who their customers were and why they bought from Comdane. We used that information to figure out how we can set Comdane apart from the Metricons of the world. And then we looked at their brand and how we could bring it to life and make it more luxurious, because it was looking fairly common, really, very Me Too. So what we came up with after our research was the two owners, they're actual builders that have been in the business for over 30 years. And what they actually do is they don't slap up, quick quantities like Metricon. Every single home is totally bespoke to their customers. So we came up with this positioning of true craftsmanship in everything that they do. So we then came up with copy lines of, for example, when quality matters, defined by luxury, designed uniquely, luxury inspired living, custom crafted to be uniquely yours. These are the sort of copy lines that we came up with to appeal to this very affluent set of Melburnians. And we extended the brand, so we gave it, beautiful colours, different backgrounds to show different types of materials, whether it be stone or, wood, different tones of wood, etc., marble, and brought the brand to life in that way. This is how we created a style guide of the different types of imagery that we would use, the different type of colours that we would use. We came up with the personality of the brand, which was premium quality, contemporary, inspiring, responsible and trusted, luxury, clever, and mastery and craftsmanship. So then every single copy that we wrote, every single campaign that we did, every page on the website had to infer these personality aspects. And this style guide then evolved into their website, into their campaigns, etc. Now, for some reason, I don't think that's very clear. Oh no, sorry, it's my internet. So this is their new website. This is the new branding that we've developed for Comdane. And not only did we do it for the Comdane Homes corporate business, but then we had to create individual brands for their display homes. And as you can see, in each instance, it's all reinforcing that luxury and craftsmanship. So now when a affluent Melburnian comes to this website and sees this brand, they can see that they're in a place that is, worthy of $1 million plus spend budget. We then brought it to life with various digital ads. So whether this was in social media or if it's in Google Ads or whether it was programmatic. I don't know if anyone's heard of that digital activity where programmatic is strategic digital advertising that can identify different customer sets by their online behaviour. So for example, we wanted to attract affluent Melburnians. So we, with programmatic, could identify customers that, or people that have got URLs, as in they've been to website addresses for Amex, for example. They've been on luxury travel sites. They've been on websites that have been into luxury cars, those sort of things. So once we get that sort of understanding of where people have been, we can actually target ads to go into their feed when they're reading the news online, or they're doing different shopping, or they're reading a blog. We can start feeding them Comdane Homes ads, and they, you know, are none the wiser. Very clever, targeted advertising. This is a sort of, we did a couple of print campaigns also, and, you know, the set of brochures that we developed. More importantly is the outcomes that we achieved for them. They certainly have a unique and strong point of difference now and a competitive advantage. They have a brand story of custom luxury craftsmanship and opulence, whereas it was a bit Me Too before. Key messages that were targeted to their desired audiences, and they have now a fully measured and successful marketing machine, in that their website is now generating only 5,000 leads per month, but the quality of the leads, there's no tire kickers. They're all people that should be there. And instead of having a 4% conversion rate now in sales, they have a 45% conversion rate. And now, a year later, they have 2.5 years worth of builds ahead of them. So essentially they've said to us, you know, can you just slow things down, because we've got plenty of business now. So that's definitely a great success story. And here's the testimonial of Rod Ord, their general manager. So that, I just wanted to share that case study, because I think it helps when you're talking about your own marketing goals, to ascertain, when I'm talking about competitors and whatever, that this is an example of how another business has been able to do it. So any questions or anything about this particular case study? Laura, you'll let me know if there is.
Yes, I have a question actually. What was the what was the I don't know if it was a website or something that you used just to measure or to attract the right people into the ads or the feeds? What you said before, that you were tracking which people visited Amex, and then
yes,
popping up that ad to them. So what was it exactly that you said?
It's called programmatic digital advertising.
Is that a paid thing?
Absolutely. There's certain things I'll take you through. There's in the essentials for marketing, there's things you can do that are free, and then there's things that are paid. So in the world of paid advertising, as far as digital, of course, there's AdWords, and then there's just digital advertising, which is, you know, you just pay to be on different websites, or you know, like you can pay to be on 9 MSN, etc. Or you can do remarketing, which is when someone's come to your website will remember it, and then you can go back and remarket to people, because your website is capturing where people came from and remarkets back to them as a reminder, you know, like, don't forget to buy from us, don't forget to buy from us. That's remarketing, but that all costs money. But, and so does, for example, Facebook advertising, which you can be highly targeted again, or you can do something called programmatic, which takes in all of those aspects and will build a customer profile for you and deliver against set parameters, combining all of those. But it's highly targeted, and it's also, rather than, yes, it's more about capturing different people's online behaviour and targeting to them. That's what programmatic is.
Fantastic. Thank you for that.
Welcome. Any other questions about this case study?
Natalie, mine wasn't so much a question but a comment, but I think the value of that targeting is fantastic, because you're not putting energy into, as you called them and as I would have called them, tire kickers. So, you know, the quality of lead is what it's all about, I think, and being able to narrow the field so that you've already established, you know, not necessarily their income but their demographic and their desire. So if they're looking at those competitors' websites and everything, I think that's brilliant. It's really valuable.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, it was an absolute quandary to Condane Homes, because they were saying, look, you know, we've got 10,000 traffic, our website's doing great. And it's like, well, that's good, but, you know, does it convert to sales? And how many leads are you capturing from your website per month? They couldn't tell us. There was no measurement in place. And when we did the website digital audit, we found out that, you know, almost 50% of those 10,000 were going to a dead page. So obviously that wasn't doing anything for them. They also didn't have a CRM system, which is a customer relations management system, where it was capturing leads for their sales team to then follow them up. Also, they did have downloads and whatever, but they weren't resonating with their customers, so that was, you know, also failing them. But the main thing was they weren't getting the right clients. They didn't care if they only got 20 leads a month, but please make them quality people that are actually going to, you know, be able to afford $1 million home.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that also enables a higher level of customer service too.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you know that these people are the right, you know, people for you, rather than being disheartening for a sales team and just wasting your time ringing up people that really shouldn't have never even been in your lead capture anyway.
Yeah.
But you can do this with this targeting. You don't have to do it with, you know, expensive digital. You can be doing this in Facebook for a small business as well. You know, as long as your advertising is highly targeted, you can make sure you're going to the right type of customer. Okay, so I'll finish with that one, and I'll bring up the actual presentation, which is the 6 essentials of marketing, or fundamentals. Now, can we see this presentation?
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so one of the common causes that we see when a business comes to us is that there's often a lack of marketing planning and strategy. So they don't really know why the money that they've spent or the efforts they've put in place haven't been working. But if you give it a bit more thought in the first part of any, you know, campaign development or anything that you're doing as far as planning out your marketing activities for the year, it can have much more success. So whether you're planning your whole year ahead or you're planning just a quarter, and a lot of businesses do it by the quarter, or even by the month, because you just want to plan out a campaign for a new product or service that your business has. If you have these 6 fundamentals, you'll have a much better chance of having success. So the 6 fundamentals that we believe that you need to have is: first, establish your marketing goals and I'll take you through that in a second. Look at your competitors and see what they're doing to make sure that your offer is different or better. Figure out who your target audience is so that you can be making sure that you're talking to them in their language that will resonate with them. Determine your investment and your budget. And as I mentioned, there's things we can do for free to make sure that you're visible, etc. But it often does require some level of investment, that you've got an actionable marketing strategy and that you're tracking and reporting to check whether or not it's been effective. So the first one, think big picture. What amount of sales are needed by your company or your business each month to provide real success? So for example, with Comdane, when they wanted to have 30 builds a year, that meant they needed at least 20 good leads coming in per month, which might then work out to be 5 builds per month, because for them, a sale can take up to a year. Someone comes in, has a meeting, and then, they'll go away, see other competitors, come back, It can be a year or 12-month process, but if they have this constant stream of leads coming in, they can nurture them over time. So your business might be different. It might be just we get the traffic in, capture them, and it's an online cart, get them in the door. Or it might take, if you're an architect, I think there was one in this business, in these crew here today, that might take 6 months too. So you need to have something that will work with your business. What are your business's greatest challenges? Is your brand does it look good compared to your competitors? Is your website working to be able to actually generate sales leads for you? Do you need to increase your website traffic? Do you need to you've got heaps of leads, but you're not converting them? Do you have brand awareness? Do you need to be on page 1 of Google? Have you got a point of difference? Etc. Work out what your challenges are, or work out what your sales need to be, and then work out your SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, timely. We've all seen those before. It's a really good guide to helping you work out what your goals are. Any questions on that one? Number 2. So Kathy, you mentioned the competitor research before. It's really, it's what we do for ourselves, being creative all the time. We're looking at our competitors and what we actually do for our clients as well. We investigate we look at each of our competitors' websites essentially, look at what their marketing is, what their sales strategies are, what are their promotions, what are their offers, their key messages, who are they targeting, what does their brand look like, what's their digital presence. We look at all these things to work out a game plan for our clients and work out a way to have a competitive advantage over their competitors. Then we might look at their competitors' social media as well. What are they doing on social media? What are they sending out there? How many followers do they have? What is resonating with their clients? What customers are they trying to attract? How are they doing that? Then we can figure out what we should do with our client so that we can put a plan together to outperform their competitors. We also look at things like their content marketing, their social media, as I mentioned. We look at their SEO, their search engine optimization. As I mentioned, there's a software called SEMrush, and you can go online and try it yourself today. You get 10 goes for free. And you can put in your website and you can put in the URL of your competitor's website, and that'll bring up how much traffic your competitors are getting per month, what keywords they're using, if they're using any AdWords. It's fantastic to go under the hood and find out the world of your competitors without them even knowing. And also things like video marketing, YouTube. If you've got a trade business or a business that appeals to men, YouTube video marketing is fantastic because men use YouTube more than any other social media. And then do a SWOT analysis to determine how your business benchmarks against your competition and uncover your opportunities and threats. Okay. Number 3, target your ideal customer. So working out who your target customer is absolutely fundamental. Work out who they are as far as their demographics. So male, female, profession, where they live, their psychographics, as in what is their buying behaviours, their challenges, or their inspiration. If you can work out how to appeal and speak to your target audience, you'll be streets ahead of your competition. What are their problems and how can you solve their problems is probably the greatest, communication that you need to get across. And you might make sure that your website is saying that. If you've got social media, make sure your social media is communicating that. If you've got e-communications, e-newsletters, constantly be about solving your customers' problems rather than saying who we are and how good are we. Try and get into the minds of your customers. I think that sort of covers it from a target audience perspective. And in doing that, then you create your marketing plan and your communication plans around your ideal customers, as Comdane did with their 3 target audiences. Investment. Now, I appreciate a lot of businesses are small businesses and they may not have a spare 5 to 10% of their sales in order to put aside for their marketing each year. But there are lots of different things that you can be doing that are cost effective as well. For example, content marketing. Adding blogs and articles and case studies to your website is something that you can be doing which doesn't cost anything. You can write these things yourself or pay a copywriter to write a blog for you for a couple of $100. If you make sure that those blogs, etc., have keywords that are optimized on your website, you'll be found for these keywords in your blogs, etc., for very little effort and no cost. Social media posting is, of course, free of charge. If you boost it, however, I don't know if many of you know this, but if you do social media posting and you don't boost it, you'll only ever be reaching 10% of the followers that you have. So if you have, for example, 200 followers on your business Facebook page and you make a post, Facebook only guarantee that you're going to get to 20 of them. However, if you spend $20 boosting that post, you could in fact reach all of your followers. You could also reach friends of your followers, or you can be reaching, 10K radius from your business and be targeting people and reaching up to 1,000 people on Facebook from one post for $20. It's highly cost effective. Social advertising, that costs a little bit of money, but it's a great cost effective way, very effective, of reaching target audiences. AdWords. Depending on the industry that you're in, that's one way of getting visibility, of course, but it can cost a bit of money. The more social search engine optimization that you do will minimize your reliance on AdWords, and you'll be found organically in search engine optimization. If you don't know what search engine optimization is, please let me know. Your e-communications by way of email newsletters to your database is one way to keep your visibility high. Make sure any communications that you do have links back to your website so that you're driving traffic to your website and driving your customers to your offers, etc. Google My Business is something that you can do for your website. You can do it in about a half an hour, and it's free, and will make sure that you come up much more effectively for any searches for people that might be in your area looking for your type of service. And another thing you can do is make sure your business is listed in online directories, things like Yellow Pages, Yelp, Local, lots of different online directories. The more you're online in these directories for free, the more Google recognizes that you've got a digital presence, and you will get a greater ranking in Google because of it. So it's a mix of having to actually pay some money, but there's lots of things you can do that are free as well. Okay, so whatever you do, make sure they're actionable. As far as your marketing strategy is concerned. Depending on your goals, work out your tactics for each goal that you have. So based on, for example, just say your business needs brand awareness. Consider search engine optimization. You can either do that yourself, or you can pay someone to do that for you. Say for $500 or whatever, you can get your website very healthy, and make sure you'll be found online organically. Once that's done, it can be a set and forget, or you can continue it on. AdWords would help deliver visibility. Digital advertising, like we showed you with Comdane. Social advertising, for example, in Facebook, and you can also do that in LinkedIn. Content marketing, that's your blogs, etc. If they're optimized, they'll be found for free once they're in there. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Blogs, we love them. Of course, advertising as far as print, that sort of thing, and promotions as well. Local area marketing, that sort of thing. Letterbox drops, whatever you need to do. That will create all the different tactics for brand awareness. However, if you need lead gen and sales, make sure that you've got SEO, AdWords to drive traffic to your website. Then make sure your website's got downloads for email capture. So if you've got an architect business, the top 10 tips for, designing a home, or the top 10 tips to choose the right architect for yourself. If you've got email captures like that, people will happily enter their details, their email address, their name, their phone number, and then you've got a lead for your business to be able to follow up. If you've got a CRM system like HubSpot, that will capture a whole lot more intelligence and sales leads for you. You can also plug in an automated email system that will not only capture the leads, but will have an automated system of saying, thanks for downloading. Then a week later, here's something else you might be interested in. A month later, we thought would you like to come to this webinar or whatever? That can all be set up so that you don't even have to do it manually at all. And then that also then helps your sales nurturing, and it's fantastic for sales teams. Make sure your business, for example, has a point of difference. If you needed that because you look very me too with everybody else, there's different ways you can create a point of difference. Make sure you're targeting specific customers, or you're offering something that's unique. Have unique key messages. Don't be saying that, you know, we're the best. You've got to figure out a way to say we're the best in a way that's different from your competitors. Ensure your brand is memorable. For example, Comdane. We created a brand that was, you know, opulent. It was about craftsmanship rather than, you know, their competitors that were about more, quantity builds or whatever. I saw a video last night on YouTube about a doctor that was special. It was a skin doctor that specialized in all sorts of pimples and all sorts of, and her name is Dr. Pimple Popper. Now, what a memorable personality for a skin specialist. You'd never forget her. That's certainly a personality. Make sure that you have a purpose for your business, in your mission, in your what you do. Perhaps you've got a charity that you assign to your business. Have added value in your pricing, and so on. There's different ways of creating that USP or point of difference. Create a brand preference. You might say, I want our brand to be more effective than others. So give your customers or potential prospects reasons to choose you. Create campaigns, have seasonal offers, have competitions, loyalty clubs, perhaps sponsor different causes. These are all different ways that you can, you know, create tactics for, depending on the strategy that you have or need for your business. And then, of course, track everything, measure everything to make sure that whatever you do is effective, that you haven't wasted your money and that you've got a return on investment. Make sure that you're looking at your website traffic. If you haven't got Google Analytics, ensure that you get it. Then you can be tracking things like your click-throughs, figuring out what pages on your website are best resonating with your audiences. Have things like downloads, as I mentioned, and then you'll be able to see that we had 20 people that have downloaded that 10 tips for, or that corporate brochure that you've got. AdWords. With AdWords, you'll be able to measure how many impressions, how many clicks, how many conversions that you had. It's great for measuring. Sales conversions with HubSpot or another CRM system. As I mentioned, Comdane had 4% and now they've got 45%. You can actually measure these things. Social media performance. Don't just post. Look at how many likes you're getting, how many people are engaging, commenting, sharing, and then you'll get a real feel for what your audience likes, as well as your campaigns and your ads. Measure them all. Content marketing. Again, look at your blogs. One of the blogs that I've done for Beam is about marketing in winter. I did it about 3 years ago, and it's constantly, even in summer, it's one of our best performing blogs. Each month, people are finding it they're Googling something and the blog just keeps on coming up. As I said, blogs are a gift that keep on giving. Information sheets, etc. Track the results via your website and share them in social media. Customer feedback. Encourage your customers to write reviews on Google and Facebook. These go a long way for your own credibility and good PR as far as potential other customers looking at your websites. And of course, ask your feedback. Get feedback from your sales team. What's working, what's not working. And we've only got 3 minutes to go. I think that is all. So I should ask questions. I hope these tips have helped.
Fantastic, Natalie. Thank you very, very much. Yes, of course, there are so many things that the business group can do better after having these presentations. Kira and I think that we're going to have a lot of things to retweak on our marketing plans. I have a question from Daniel. And he says, how do you find the SEC and performance?
SEO, sorry.
CR, okay. I was about to ask you what I mean. Okay, you want to ask it yourself, Daniel?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation, Natalie. I was just wondering, you've mentioned how well blogs performed a few times.
Mm.
How do you find the SEO and overall performance on, from a marketing perspective of blogs versus, for example, just website articles?
Anything that, you know, if you've got it as a PDF, it's not going to be read for SEO. So if you have an article, make sure that it's actually online as a part of your website rather than a downloadable PDF. Obviously, as a PDF, it's not going to perform for your SEO.
Agreed from that perspective, but even with the online website-based articles compared to a blog, and I suppose the interaction that you would then gain from people commenting on blogs as well.
I think it really depends very much on who your target audience is. You know, if you've got blogs, you know, and you're one type of business that is talking about, you know, interior design, that sort of thing, versus you're a management performance company and you've got articles and case studies, you know, like I don't think you can measure one type of medium or communication against another. I think it's a matter of what's going to resonate better and what's more useful to the target audience that you have.
Understood. Thank you.
Kathy has a question, Natalie.
Get my hand up. Mine, I'm just curious to know. So we're talking about paid ads in Google, and I'm just interested to hear other people's position on it. But I tend to avoid the paid ads and tend to go more to organic listings. Is that something, I'm just curious to know if that's something that most people do or if that's just me?
Google Ads for us wouldn't work unless you have the keywords. And the keywords are basically, for us, a result of knowing the customer persona. That's going to be the key, right? So we're quite lucky that with the business, the keywords are very, you don't have any variations in the keywords for our business. It will be extended to specific customer personas. For example, people going for a holiday, needing an errand, or grooming, for example. It's very, again, we're quite lucky with the business that the keywords are very specific for us. Without those keywords, for us, Google Ads wouldn't work. So for our business, that has been more like the outcome that we wanted to derive out of the Google Ads, but without the keywords, it's going to be nothing.
Okay. Can I have a comment on AdWords versus SEO? So for obviously SEO is organic and therefore, you know, more cost effective and in fact free if you've set it up properly. And also depending on how competitive your market is. Whereas AdWords, of course, you have to pay for that visibility, but it also just, if you haven't got a lot of competition and you're already on page 1 of Google, you don't need to be paying for AdWords. It would be, you know, unnecessary and money not well spent. But if you are in a competitive environment, for example, you're a financial advisor, the way Google prefers to work, or the way ranking can work, is it's a formula of A plus B equals C. So SEO plus AdWords will give you the best performance in ranking. But if you've already got it nailed in SEO and you don't need it, or you've done SEO and you've done local area marketing, as in you've done Google My Business, you're in the directories, you're doing everything else you need to do for free online, you may not need it. It's expensive, and the more competitive your marketplace is, the more expensive AdWords will be, of course.
Excellent.
Natalie, it's Kathy from Pines Learning.
Yes.
Can I just ask you a question going back to the blogs that you were talking about? You said something about online versus it's better off to be on your website rather than being part of a PDF. Mm-hmm. Could you just explain that a bit more, please? I didn't quite understand that.
Okay, so if it's a PDF, the website and Google's not able to read the words in a PDF.
So you shouldn't be putting a PDF up for people to open to look at. So you should just have it typed in, have it entered into your website, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Put all the words
yes.
on the PDF into an actual web page.
Okay.
Make sure that web page is set up in SEO, so your heading and your subheads and even your visuals have the keywords of what that page is about. So what is Pines Learning, Kathy?
Pines Learning, we're a not-for-profit community house, but we're also a registered training organisation. We're in Manningham. Yeah, so we deliver accredited courses as well as community courses as well.
Okay, so
health and well-being and.
Okay, so one of your PDFs might be, about well-being.
Well-being, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so maybe it's about stress management.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. So you'd make sure that the heading says something about stress management and other keywords that might be related to that as far as your subhead, and then words on your pages, lots of words, different words that you might be found for that are about stress management. You make sure that you've got at least 300 words on every page, because Google won't read it unless you've got at least 300 words. And then you can have your PDF attached to that page too, if people want to download it or print it as well. So it's just an added service to have it as a PDF, but for Google to find it and for you to be found by people that are searching for that term, it needs to be on a web page and be optimized.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you for that.
Any other questions? No? I'm more than happy to share these presentations with everyone today if you'd like a copy.
Yes, please.
My email address is Natalie, Natalie, at beam, B-E-A-M, beamcreative.com.au.
Yep.
And I'm in Mont Albert, so I'm a part of the Whitehorse, and I'd be happy to help any of our fellow businesses, with their marketing, even just, if you've got any questions like, why doesn't a PDF work or whatever, as far as SEO, once you've emailed me, you'll have my mobile number, and feel free to give me a call. And yeah, I'd love to help anybody with their marketing or their branding or their strategy. It's been a pleasure to be a part of the community today, and I hope it's been useful, what we've shared.
Fantastic, Natalie. Thank you very much. It was a very nice presentation, and I wish I can afford some of those houses that your client is offering.
I wish I could too. Trust me, I'm not an affluent Arnold. So.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for attending our session this morning. Remember that every Friday morning we are here with different topics, and hopefully we'll see you next week. No, I think it's the other week that we had our trivia activity, Kieran. It's in 2 weeks' time, isn't it? Yeah, in 10 days we have a trivia on a Tuesday morning. So if you want to have a little bit of fun and forget about everything that's happening around us, join us for a little bit of laughter on our trivia night. Thank you very much again, Natalie, and have a nice rest of Friday and a nice weekend.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Natalie. Thanks, Whitehorse Business.